Chosen one. You are not here by accident, and this moment is not random. If your eyes are on this message, it is because a prophetic scroll written for you before birth is being unsealed now. This is Kairos timing, not human timing. Heaven's clock has struck your appointed hour. Chosen one. There are seasons when God speaks softly, and there are moments when eternity presses into time. This is one of those moments. What has been hidden is beginning to surface. What was sealed is being unlocked. What was delayed is now aligning. As it is written in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, there is a time for everything and a season for every purpose under heaven, and your season has arrived. Anointed one, you are standing at the edge of a destined turning point. This awakening may unfold today, tonight, or in the coming days, but make no mistake, the shift has already begun. The vision has an appointed time, and as Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 declares, it will surely come, it will not delay. Chosen one, heaven is calling you to attention. The Lord is no longer hiding what He placed within you. This is a moment of revelation, activation, and divine alignment. Breathe, still your spirit. Let expectation rise. What God is about to reveal is not information, it is transformation. Chosen one, let us begin at the place heaven always begins, with revelation. Not information, not theory, revelation. What I'm about to speak to you is not symbolic language meant to inspire you emotionally. It is language meant to wake something up. Because the blue power you carry is not an idea, it is a deposit. And deposits respond to timing. In the natural world, blue speaks of calm, clarity, and depth. We see it in the sky stretching endlessly above us, and in the sea holding mysteries we cannot fully measure. But in the spirit realm, blue is not passive. It is authoritative. Blue carries the frequency of divine revelation, heavenly governance, and spiritual justice. It is the color of what comes from above and establishes order below. I remember the first time I realized this wasn't poetic language. It was during a season when everything around me felt unstable: relationships, direction, even my own confidence. Yet everywhere I turned, there was clarity where there should have been confusion. People would come to me, unload their hearts, and leave lighter, while I was still asking God questions myself. That's when I learned something important. Clarity doesn't require comfort. Authority doesn't require applause. Chosen one. The blue power is not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't force its way into rooms. It arrives and things shift. In Scripture, the throne of God is described with sapphire beneath it, deep blue, unshakable governing. In the vision of Ezekiel, heaven does not tremble or rush. It establishes. And when Jesus was transfigured, the light that radiated from him was not chaotic fire, it was ordered glory, bluish, white, controlled, heaven revealing itself without noise. That same frequency is what rests within you. Blue is not just a color, it is a signal. It is the vibration of heaven's voice moving quietly inside your spirit. The blue power is the hidden authority of the chosen one. It is the courage to remain aligned when the world pressures you to dilute yourself. It is the clarity to see what others overlook. And it is the ability to bring order into chaos, not by control, but by presence. Have you noticed this about yourself? You don't have to try to lead, but somehow people look to you. You don't raise your voice, but your words carry weight. You don't chase attention, but when you speak, the room listens. That's not personality, that's mantle. This message is not for everyone, and you've always known that. There have been moments in your life when you felt out of sync, not rebellious, just different. As if you were operating on a frequency others couldn't hear. You may have tried to blend in, follow the trends, mirror the expectations placed on you. But no matter how well you played the role, something inside you whispered, "This isn't who you are." Chosen one, that whisper was not insecurity, it was memory. From a young age you carried depth. You saw through things quickly. You noticed what wasn't being said. You felt atmospheres shift before words were spoken. People may have called you quiet, intense, or too observant, but heaven called you prepared. God sets apart before he sends forth, and only the set apart can carry what has been set aside. The blue power does not arrive with fireworks. It doesn't demand recognition. It is quiet, humble, and hidden, but undeniable. Heaven has never overlooked you, even when people did. And now, in this Kairos moment, the sealed scroll concerning your identity is being opened, not all at once, but enough for you to recognize yourself. You sense things before they happen. You walk into rooms and feel the atmosphere instantly. You know when something is about to shift, even if logic can't explain it. You may have called it intuition. You may have dismissed it as coincidence, but it's more than that. It is discernment, a spiritual radar God placed inside you to help you navigate realms others aren't even aware exist. I know what it's like to doubt this gift, to wonder if you're imagining things, to feel isolated because you can't explain what you perceive without sounding strange or misunderstood. But hear this clearly, chosen one. You were never meant to explain your gift to everyone. You were meant to walk in it and trust that heaven confirms what people cannot comprehend. This is why strangers open up to you. This is why people feel calm when you're near. This is why chaos softens in your presence. You are not a thermometer reacting to the environment. You are a thermostat set by heaven to shift it. And this is only the beginning. Because before the blue power moves outward, it must be recognized inward. Before it is activated publicly, it must be honored privately. In the next part, we will speak about the signs, the undeniable evidence that this power has been operating in you all along, and why the resistance you faced was never random. Chosen one, stay with me. What you are remembering now is not new. It is ancient, and it is waking up. Chosen one. Now that you understand what the blue power is, it's time to speak about something even more personal, the signs. Because heaven never hides a calling without leaving evidence. Long before you had language for it, long before anyone affirmed it, the blue power was already leaving fingerprints on your life. Let me say this clearly: if you are listening to this, and something inside you feels exposed, affirmed, or deeply seen, that is not emotion. That is recognition. And recognition is how destiny begins to surface. From early on, you sense that you didn't quite fit the mold. You may have truly tried to be like everyone else. You followed the trends. You mirrored behaviors. You learned how to blend in just enough to survive. But no matter how well you adapted, there was always a quiet resistance inside your spirit. A sense that you were observing life rather than simply participating in it. That wasn't pride. That wasn't detachment. That was preparation. Chosen one, you were never meant to dissolve into the crowd. God set you apart not to isolate you, but to form you. Only the set apart can carry what has been set aside, and the blue power requires a depth that cannot be developed in shallow spaces. One of the clearest signs is this: you perceive before others do. You sense shifts before they happen. You feel when something is off, even when everything looks fine on the surface. You can walk into a room and immediately know whether the atmosphere is safe, tense, deceptive, or open. People may talk, laugh, and smile, but your spirit reads what words conceal. I remember seasons where I ignored this. I told myself I was overthinking, being too sensitive, imagining things. And every time I ignored that inner signal, I paid for it later through unnecessary pain, betrayal, or exhaustion. Over time, I learned this truth the hard way. Discernment doesn't shout, but it never lies. Chosen one. Your ability to read energy is not mystical fantasy. It is spiritual perception. It is part of the blue power. God planted it inside you as a form of protection and guidance. That's why certain places drain you. That's why certain people unsettle you even when they appear kind. And that's why your peace returns the moment you step away from what isn't aligned. Another sign is this: people are drawn to you without knowing why. Have you noticed that strangers confide in you? People tell you things they've never said out loud. Even when you say very little, others sense safety in your presence. They don't come because you have perfect answers. They come because your spirit creates space for truth. That is not coincidence. That is spiritual authority expressed through stillness. You don't need to dominate conversations. You don't need to prove your insight. The blue power does not perform, it rests. And when it rests, others feel permission to be real. You also carry emotional depth that others struggle to understand. You feel things fully. Beauty moves you. Injustice unsettles you. Betrayal cuts deeply. You may have been told you're too sensitive, too intense, or too emotional, but hear this: chosen one depth is not weakness. It is capacity. The blue power flows through empathy, compassion, and the ability to feel without becoming bitter. This is why you are able to bring healing without trying. Your presence alone calms nervous systems. People feel lighter around you. Wounds soften in your company. That doesn't happen by accident. But with this depth came a cost. Your life has not been easy. There were seasons of loneliness you couldn't explain, cycles of betrayal that felt repetitive, delays that made you question your worth, confusion that lingered longer than it should have, and at times it felt like darkness followed you even when you were trying to do the right thing. Chosen one, that was not bad luck. That was strategic warfare. The enemy does not waste energy attacking what carries no threat. Before you knew who you were, hell recognized the potential you carried, and it tried to break you early through rejection, isolation, and self-doubt, hoping you would abandon your identity before discovering it. But you survived. And survival is not neutral. Survival is confirmation. Every storm you endured refined you. Every attack strengthened discernment. Every season that almost broke you taught you how to stand without applause. If you are still here, still seeking God, still listening, then you were never defeated. You were prepared. Another sign of the blue power is how God speaks to you. Your dreams are vivid, symbolic, sometimes unsettling, sometimes instructive. You may have seen colors, faces, or scenarios that later made sense in real life. You may have felt led to pray, move, or speak in ways that didn't make sense at the time, but proved essential later. That is not imagination. That is communication. The blue power speaks through whispers, nudges, and inner knowing. And the more you honor it, the clearer it becomes. God has been trying to get your attention not to overwhelm you, but to align you. You are not just living life, you are walking under divine instruction, and this is why truth matters so deeply to you. Lies disturb your spirit. Corruption feels unbearable. You cannot pretend not to see what you see. Even when silence would be easier, something inside you burns to speak truth. That fire is not anger, it is righteous conviction. Chosen one, you were created to stand in the gap, to be a light in confused spaces, to break cycles others normalize. You cannot unsee what heaven has shown you, and that is by design. Even when you wandered, even when you questioned, even when you pulled away, something always called you back. That was the blue power drawing you home, because this power is not about perfection. It is about availability. And you are still here, which means it's not over. It means the signs were real. and it means the season is shifting. In the next part, we will speak about why this power was hidden for so long and why heaven has decided that the delay is over. Stay with me, chosen one. The scroll is opening further. Chosen one. Now we must speak about the part that has confused you the most, the delay. Not the waiting itself, but the why behind it. Because if the blue power is real, if the signs were always there, then why did God not release it fully sooner? Why did you walk through so many silent seasons? Why were you prepared in obscurity while others seemed to move ahead faster, louder, and with less resistance? Here is the truth most people never learn. God hides what he intends to protect. The blue power was never withheld as punishment. It was concealed as mercy. Heaven moves according to Kairos timing, not urgency. And what you carry required maturity before manifestation. There are powers God releases quickly, and there are powers he guards until the soul is ready to steward them. Yours belongs to the second category. Think of Moses in the desert, David in the fields, Jesus in the wilderness. None of them were idle. They were being formed in the dark where applause could not corrupt them, in the quiet where ego could not survive, in the delay where character was forged. Chosen one, you were not late. You were being aligned. There were versions of you that could not be trusted with the full measure of this power yet. Versions that still needed healing. Versions that might have used it to prove something instead of serve something. Versions that could have acted from pain rather than presence. Power without maturity is dangerous, not just to others, but to you. I know this because I've seen what happens when clarity comes before healing. It produces arrogance, not authority. It produces reaction, not discernment. And God refused to let that be your story, so the delay was divine. The hidden seasons were not empty. They were instructional. God was teaching you how to stand without validation, how to hear him without noise, how to trust his voice when everything else went silent. That's why the preparation felt lonely. That's why you were misunderstood. That's why you often felt like you were carrying something heavy you couldn't explain. You were carrying weight, and weight must be strengthened before it is lifted. Now hear this carefully, chosen one. The veil is lifting. You are hearing this message because the season has shifted. Not is shifting has shifted. The womb of preparation is opening, and heaven is declaring that what was hidden is ready to emerge. This is not about ambition. This is about alignment. There is a war over your identity, and there always has been. Not because of what you have, but because of who you are. The enemy does not care about your job, your income, or your social standing. He cares about your clarity, your voice, your ability to bring light where confusion thrives. That's why your mind has been targeted. That's why your rest has been attacked. That's why discouragement tried to convince you that you were behind. If you ever fully awaken to who you are, you will move in a way that disrupts darkness without striving. And that is a threat to systems built on deception. The blue power cannot be bought. It cannot be learned. It cannot be copied. It must be unlocked. And the key has always been awareness. The moment you begin to see yourself as God sees you, not broken, not late, not lacking the power, begins to flow naturally. This is why the enemy built lies around your mind. Shame, fear, guilt, doubt. Anything to keep you from seeing clearly. But even now, something is breaking. You can feel it, can't you? The fog is lifting. The heaviness is loosening. The chains you learned to live with are falling away. Not because you fought harder, but because heaven decided it was time. Let me tell you something personal. There was a season when I thought stillness meant stagnation. When I believed I needed to force clarity, chase answers, and prove readiness. And the more I tried, the more drained I became. It wasn't until I stopped striving and sat quietly before God that things shifted. Stillness is not passive. Stillness is alignment. This is how dormant power awakens. Not through effort, but through surrender. You don't activate the blue power by earning it. You activate it by remembering it, by creating space, by silencing the noise long enough to hear what was always there. Go into quiet places, not to escape life, but to reconnect with truth. Ask God simple, honest questions, not rehearsed prayers, real ones. Show me what you placed inside me. Teach me how to walk with it, and then speak. Life and death are carried in the tongue. What you declare matters. When you say, I carry heaven's clarity, I walk in divine authority, you are not manifesting fantasy. You are agreeing with truth. But agreement requires action. The blue power flows where faith leads. That means saying yes to conversations you've avoided, changes you've delayed, dreams you've kept hidden. Not recklessly, but obediently. You cannot carry divine power and old pain in the same vessel. Some things must be released. Forgiveness is not optional, it is structural. Blessing is not weakness, it is freedom. Letting go does not erase the past, it redeems it. And stay close to the source. This power does not come from hustle. It does not respond to burnout. It flows from intimacy, from time in the Word, from listening more than speaking, from letting the Spirit lead rather than rushing ahead. Chosen one, remember who you are. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are not too late. You are chosen. And chosen ones carry the kingdom quietly, steadily, and with authority that does not need permission. When you walk in alignment, doors open without knocking. People are drawn without explanation. Strategies flow without strain. Your inner world stabilizes. Your emotions stop hijacking your clarity. Your voice begins to carry weight again. And most importantly, you feel like yourself. Not the version you performed to survive, but the version heaven knew before life got loud. In the next part, we will speak about what happens after activation, how to walk forward without shrinking, how to steward this power daily, and how to move boldly into the life that has been waiting for you. Stay with me, chosen one. The awakening is not ending. It is entering its next phase. Chosen one. Now we must speak about what happens after awakening, because realization is only the doorway. What follows is the walk. And this is where many hesitate, not because they lack power, but because they fear visibility. The moment you begin to walk consciously in the blue power, something changes in how the world responds to you. You may notice it subtly at first. Conversations shift. People either lean in or pull away. Doors that once felt locked begin to open while others quietly close without explanation. This is not punishment. This is alignment. When heaven brings clarity, it also brings separation. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into this next season. Some were assigned to your preparation, not your promotion. And that realization can feel bittersweet if you don't understand what's happening. Chosen one, you are not becoming distant. You are becoming defined. One of the greatest challenges after activation is the temptation to shrink back for the comfort of others. You may feel an inner pull to soften your voice, dilute your insight, or minimize what you see so others don't feel exposed or unsettled. But hear this clearly, your clarity is not cruelty. Light does not apologize for illuminating a room. I've learned this personally. There were moments when I sensed truth clearly, but chose silence because I didn't want to disrupt peace. What I didn't realize then was that silence born from fear creates false peace, and false peace eventually collapses. True peace comes from alignment, even when it's uncomfortable at first. The blue power does not ask you to dominate, it asks you to stand. Standing does not mean arguing with everyone. It means remaining anchored when others waver. It means speaking when prompted and staying silent when wisdom requires restraint. Authority is not loud. Authority is consistent. You may notice that as you walk forward, people project onto you. Some will admire you, others will misunderstand you. A few may resist you intensely without knowing why. That resistance is rarely about you personally. It is about what your presence activates or disrupts in them. Remember this, chosen one. Your responsibility is alignment, not acceptance. Jesus was deeply compassionate and still misunderstood. He healed and still offended. He spoke truth and still walked alone at times. If you expect to walk in divine authority and be universally comfortable, you will live divided within yourself. The blue power stabilizes your inner world first. This is crucial. As you walk in alignment, your emotions begin to respond to truth rather than circumstances. You no longer react as quickly. You observe more. You pause before speaking. Your discernment sharpens not because you hardened, but because you matured. This is how you steward the power daily. Start your days grounded, not rushed. Even a few moments of intentional stillness recalibrate your spirit. Ask simple questions. What matters today? Where are you leading me? Don't underestimate how much clarity comes from asking without forcing answers. As you do this, you'll notice your intuition becomes cleaner, less mixed with fear, less distorted by anxiety. You'll recognize when something is aligned and when it isn't without overanalyzing. That is the blue power working through wisdom. Another sign of maturity is this: you stop chasing validation. You no longer need to explain yourself constantly. You don't need everyone to understand your decisions. You become comfortable being misunderstood because you know who sent you. This does not make you arrogant, it makes you stable. Stability is rare, and rare things draw attention. People will begin to seek your counsel more intentionally, not because you have all the answers, but because your presence creates clarity. You'll notice that when you speak, it lands differently. Your words settle rather than scatter. That's because the blue power carries order. Now let me say something important. Chosen one walking in this power does not mean life becomes effortless. It means life becomes directed. Challenges may still arise, but they no longer define you. Opposition may still appear, but it no longer confuses you. You understand now that resistance often confirms direction. When discouragement tries to return, remind yourself of what you've already survived. You didn't come this far by accident. You were preserved intentionally, and preservation is evidence of purpose. There may be moments when old patterns try to resurface: self-doubt, hesitation, the urge to retreat. When that happens, don't shame yourself. Awareness itself is growth. Simply realign. Breathe. Remember, you are not required to sprint. You are required to remain faithful. Faithfulness looks like showing up aligned even when results are quiet. It looks like obedience without applause. It looks like consistency in small things. This is how kingdoms are built: quietly, steadily, truthfully. As you continue walking, you'll find that joy becomes less reactive. Peace becomes more durable. Your sense of self stabilizes. You are no longer pulled apart by every opinion or expectation. You become centered, and from that center, influence flows naturally. Chosen one. This is what it means to live activated, not chasing moments, not waiting for permission, but walking consciously in what was always yours. In the next part, we will speak about legacy, how the blue power extends beyond you, how it impacts those connected to your calling, and how to steward this gift, not just for today, but for generations. Stay with me. You are not walking into something fragile. You are stepping into something established. Chosen one. Now we move beyond personal awakening and into something weightier: legacy. Because the blue power was never given to you for private elevation alone. It was entrusted to you because your life is meant to echo beyond your own timeline. This is where many misunderstand destiny. They think calling is about what you achieve. Heaven thinks calling is about what you release. And the moment you realize this, the pressure to perform falls away, replaced by a responsibility to steward. Legacy does not begin when others recognize you. Legacy begins when you understand why you were entrusted with clarity. You may not have thought of yourself as a leader. In fact, many chosen ones resist that label. You didn't ask to influence. You didn't seek authority. Yet somehow people around you shift because of your presence. Conversations deepen, patterns break, decisions change. That's legacy in seed form. The blue power works quietly through consistency, through how you respond when no one is watching, through the standards you keep when compromise would be easier, through the way you treat people who cannot advance you. These moments may feel small, but they shape spiritual inheritance. I've learned this personally. There were times I thought impact would come through big moments, platforms, recognition, breakthrough events. But often the deepest fruit came through ordinary obedience, through staying aligned when quitting would have been justified, through choosing integrity when no one would have known otherwise. Heaven watches those moments closely. Chosen one. The people connected to your calling may never hear your entire story, but they will live in the atmosphere your life creates. Your children, natural or spiritual, will inherit the clarity you cultivated. Your decisions today are building pathways others will walk tomorrow. This is why the enemy fought your formation so fiercely. If he could fracture your identity early, he could interrupt generations. If he could convince you that your sensitivity was weakness, he could silence a future voice of discernment. If he could keep you distracted, discouraged, or divided within yourself, he could delay impact far beyond your lifetime. But you are still here, and survival is not the goal, transmission is. The blue power matures when you stop asking, "How far can I go?" and begin asking, "What am I responsible for?" Responsibility does not mean burden. It means trust. Heaven does not entrust lightly. As you walk forward, you'll notice that your decisions carry more weight, not pressure weight. You'll become more intentional with your words, your time, and your energy. Not because you're afraid to fail, but because you understand influence is subtle and cumulative. Legacy is built in rhythm, not rush. Another shift happens here: your vision widens. You stop seeing life only in terms of personal fulfillment and begin seeing patterns, systems, cycles, needs. You notice where people are stuck, where truth is missing, where healing is possible. And instead of feeling overwhelmed, you feel positioned. This doesn't mean you fix everything. It means you respond where you're assigned. You were not sent to everyone, but you were sent for someone. That's why discernment remains critical. Legacy requires boundaries. You cannot pour into everything without losing alignment. The blue power teaches you when to engage and when to withdraw, when to speak and when to let silence do the work. Jesus often withdrew, not because he lacked compassion, but because he understood focus. He did not heal every sick person in Israel. He healed those he was sent to heal, and that focus multiplied impact. Chosen one, you do not need to chase relevance. Alignment will make you relevant to the right people. You may also notice that your relationship with success changes. Achievement no longer satisfies the way it once did. Applause feels fleeting. What begins to matter more is fruit, long-term transformation, quiet evidence of change. This is the heart of legacy. And let me say this clearly, legacy does not require perfection. It requires faithfulness. Faithfulness in small things. Faithfulness when misunderstood. Faithfulness when results are delayed. The same God who prepared you in obscurity will sustain you in influence. There may be seasons when your impact is visible and seasons when it is hidden again. Do not panic when visibility decreases. Legacy is not linear. Roots grow in darkness. Trees don't apologize for seasons. If God leads you back into quiet, it is not regression, it is reinforcement. Chosen one, your story will outlive you not because it was dramatic, but because it was true, because you chose alignment over imitation, depth over distraction, obedience over image, and those who come after you will sense it. They may not know your name, but they will recognize the atmosphere your life helped establish. That is legacy. In the next part, we will speak about authority, how to exercise it without force, how to remain humble without shrinking, and how to move with confidence that comes from heaven, not ego. Stay with me. You are no longer just awakening, you are building something that lasts. Chosen one. Now we arrive at a sacred balance authority. Not the kind that demands obedience, but the kind that commands alignment. Not confidence built on volume or dominance, but confidence rooted so deeply in truth that it doesn't need to prove itself. This is where many stumble. They confuse authority with control and humility with invisibility. But the blue power teaches something different. It teaches you how to stand fully present without overpowering, how to lead without performing, how to move with certainty while remaining teachable. Authority in the kingdom does not shout, it rests. You've felt this before. You've been in rooms where someone said very little, yet everyone adjusted around them. No intimidation, no manipulation, just gravity. That is spiritual authority expressed through alignment, and that is what is being cultivated in you now. Chosen one authority is not something you take, it is something you carry, and what you carry shapes the atmosphere before you ever speak. One of the first signs that your authority is maturing is this: you stop needing to win arguments. You stop reacting defensively when misunderstood. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. This doesn't mean you become passive, it means you become anchored. I remember a season when I thought strength meant always responding, always clarifying, always correcting, always defending truth. But wisdom taught me something harder. Not every challenge deserves a reply. Some resistance dissolves when it's not fed. Some clarity emerges when you allow silence to expose what words cannot. Authority knows when to speak. The blue power sharpens discernment, not just about what is true, but about what is timely. Timing is the difference between wisdom and noise. Even truth spoken too early can wound rather than heal. This is why your preparation included restraint. You learned how to hold insight without rushing to release it. You learned how to sit with understanding before acting on it. That patience wasn't delay, it was training. Another sign of mature authority is self-governance. Before you govern environments, conversations, or assignments, you learn to govern yourself. Your emotions no longer run the room. Your impulses no longer dictate decisions. You feel deeply, but you respond deliberately. This is strength. You may still feel anger at injustice, grief over loss, or frustration with misalignment, but those emotions no longer control you. They inform you. They sharpen your focus. They move you to act when action is required. Authority that cannot regulate itself will always collapse under pressure. Chosen one heaven trusts those who can hold power without being consumed by it. This is why humility remains essential, not false humility that pretends you have nothing to offer, but true humility that recognizes the source of what you carry. You know the clarity is not self-generated. You know the insight was entrusted, not earned. That awareness keeps your spirit clean. Humility does not ask you to shrink. It asks you to remain aligned. You don't deny your calling to appear modest. You honor your calling by stewarding it responsibly. You show humility not by hiding your light, but by using it to serve rather than impress. As your authority becomes visible, you may face new challenges. Some will test your patience, others will test your integrity. A few may try to provoke you into reacting from ego rather than alignment. This is where many fall. The temptation will be to prove yourself, to demonstrate strength, intelligence, or insight publicly. But hear this, chosen one proving is unnecessary when authority is present. Authority does not need witnesses to be real. When challenged, pause. Ask yourself one question: am I responding from truth or from wounded pride? That single pause will save you years of unnecessary conflict. Another shift you'll notice is how people respond to your boundaries. Some will respect them instantly, others will resist. Resistance often reveals where your presence exposes imbalance. Boundaries are not rejection, they are clarity, and clarity is kindness even when it disappoints. The blue power gives you permission to say no without guilt, to step back without apology, to prioritize alignment over availability. This is not selfishness, it is stewardship. You cannot pour into everything without draining the source. Authority also requires consistency, not perfection, consistency. People trust what is stable. Heaven releases influence where character is predictable. When your yes means yes and your no means no, your words gain weight. Over time, you'll notice that you don't need to assert authority, it is assumed. People sense when you are grounded. They feel when your decisions are not reactive. They recognize when your leadership is safe. That safety is rare, and it draws the right people close. Chosen one, do not fear authority. It does not make you harsh. It makes you clear. It does not distance you from compassion. It gives compassion structure. Jesus was gentle and decisive. He welcomed and confronted. He served and governed. Those qualities were not contradictory. They were integrated. Integration is the goal. You are learning how to hold strength and softness in the same hands, how to speak truth without abandoning love, how to move forward without leaving humility behind. This is not something you rush. It settles into you over time. As you continue walking, remember this authority is not about control over others. It is about alignment within yourself. When you are aligned, your presence invites alignment in others. And that is how change truly happens. In the next part, we will speak about impact in the unseen, how your prayers, choices, and quiet obedience move things you may never witness directly, and why heaven measures success differently than the world. Stay with me, chosen one. You are not just learning to stand. You are learning to govern from rest. Chosen one. There is a realm of impact you rarely receive feedback for the unseen, and yet it is here that some of the most important work of your life is happening, not on stages, not in visible victories, but in moments of quiet obedience that ripple far beyond what your natural eyes can measure. This is where many grow weary, not because they lack faith, but because they underestimate what cannot be tracked or applauded. Let me tell you something that changed how I view obedience forever. Heaven does not measure success the way the world does. Heaven measures alignment, and alignment moves things long before outcomes appear. Chosen one. Every time you chose truth over comfort, something shifted. Every time you obeyed a nudge, you couldn't fully explain a door opened somewhere you may never see. Every prayer you whispered in exhaustion was recorded not as desperation, but as authority exercised from trust. You have been moving things in the unseen for years. There were nights you prayed without words, moments you stood firm when compromise would have been easier, decisions you made quietly that no one celebrated. Those were not wasted moments. They were strategic movements. Scripture hints at this when it says that what is done in secret is seen by heaven, not to reward publicly in every case, but to build weight privately. Weight is what allows impact to travel through realms you cannot access consciously. Chosen one. Your obedience has been clearing paths ahead of you. This is why certain delays suddenly collapse. This is why obstacles that once felt immovable lose their grip without warning. You think something just worked out, but in reality, it was prepared long before you arrived. I've seen this in my own life. There were outcomes I couldn't trace back to effort. Doors that opened with no logical explanation. Protection that made sense only in hindsight. At first, I called it coincidence. Then I realized something deeper. Obedience accumulates momentum. You may not feel powerful when you obey quietly. You may feel ordinary, but heaven is not moved by theatrics. It is moved by faithfulness. Another unseen impact is this: your obedience weakens resistance for others. You are not walking alone. Your alignment makes it easier for others to align. Your clarity creates permission for others to trust their discernment. Your courage reduces fear in people you may never meet. This is why some of your battles felt heavier than they should have been. You weren't just carrying yourself, you were breaking ground. Chosen one. Generational resistance does not fall quietly. When you say no to cycles that existed before you, you confront systems that rely on unconscious participation. When you refuse to repeat patterns of silence, fear, or self-betrayal, you disrupt agreements that were never meant to last. That disruption sends shockwaves through the unseen. This is also why your rest has been contested. Rest restores clarity, and clarity exposes lies. Exhaustion dulls discernment. So the enemy tries to wear you down, not always through chaos, but through constant low-level distraction. But here is the truth: rest itself is obedience. When you choose rest instead of striving, you declare trust. When you pause instead of panic, you assert authority. When you wait instead of forcing outcomes, you align with heaven's timing. This is spiritual warfare done quietly and effectively. Another unseen impact is how your presence restrains chaos. There are rooms you enter where conflict does not escalate simply because you are there. Conversations that soften, decisions that slow down. People may not recognize why, but the atmosphere responds to alignment. That is not accidental. The blue power carries order into disorder, not by confrontation, but by frequency. You don't have to announce truth for it to register. Sometimes just being aligned exposes what is not. This can feel lonely at times. You may sense responsibility without recognition, weight without visibility, influence without credit. That is the cost of operating in the unseen. But chosen one, unseen impact lasts longer. Public applause fades. Quiet transformation remains. Heaven often assigns its most critical work to those who can carry it without needing affirmation. That is why your preparation emphasized humility. That is why your influence developed inward before it expressed outward. You were being trained to trust heaven's scoreboard. Another unseen layer of impact is protection, not just for you, but for those connected to you. There are things that did not happen because you prayed, accidents that didn't occur, relationships that didn't form, opportunities that didn't proceed. At the time, it may have felt like loss, In reality, it was preservation. I can look back now and see moments where unanswered prayers were actually barriers, delays were shields, redirections were mercy. At the time, I couldn't see it. In hindsight, it's unmistakable. Chosen one. Your obedience has been building a covering. This is why when the time comes for visible movement, it will not be fragile. What emerges from the unseen is established. Roots are already deep. Resistance has already been weakened. Timing has already been aligned. You are not starting from zero. You are stepping into momentum. The danger now is not external opposition, it is internal doubt. The temptation to believe that what you can't measure didn't matter, that what you can't point to didn't count. Do not fall into that lie. Heaven counts differently. In the next part, we will speak about visibility, when and how heaven brings what was done in secret into the open, and how to walk into that season without losing alignment or humility. Stay with me, chosen one. You have been moving mountains you never saw, and soon you will walk where they once stood. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every true calling when what was cultivated in secret begins to surface. Not suddenly, not chaotically, but unmistakably. This is the moment when the unseen starts to show itself in tangible ways. And while many pray for visibility, few are prepared for what it requires. Visibility is not just exposure, it is accountability. When heaven brings what was hidden into the light, it does so with precision, not to test you, but to trust you, not to overwhelm you, but to position you. This is why the long seasons of quiet mattered. They taught you how to stand without leaning on attention. Chosen one. When visibility begins, you may feel a strange mixture of fulfillment and vulnerability. You may sense excitement and caution at the same time. This is normal. What you're feeling is weight meeting opportunity. I remember the first time something I had carried quietly was recognized publicly. I thought I would feel victorious. Instead, I felt sober. I realized that being seen meant being responsible not just for outcomes, but for influence. It meant people would listen differently. It meant my words would land further than I intended. Visibility changes the reach of your obedience. This is why humility must deepen, not fade, as influence grows. The blue power does not elevate ego, it stabilizes identity. You don't become more important when you're seen, you become more accountable to alignment. One of the first things you'll notice in this season is acceleration. Things move faster, doors open quicker, conversations happen sooner, decisions carry more immediate consequences. What once took years now takes months or days. Acceleration is a sign of trust, but acceleration requires discernment. Not every open door is yours. Not every invitation is aligned. Visibility attracts both opportunity and distraction. Your ability to pause will matter more than your ability to act. This is where many lose their grounding. Chosen one, do not confuse momentum with mandate. Heaven will open doors that test your priorities. Some will look beneficial, but pull you off assignment. Others will challenge you to stretch beyond comfort, but remain aligned with purpose. Discernment, not desire, must guide you. Another shift in visibility is how people respond to you emotionally. Some will project expectations onto you. Others will assume authority they never acknowledged before. A few may resist you more openly now that your presence is undeniable. This is not a failure of character. It is a reaction to clarity. Light makes alignment easier for some and resistance stronger for others. Do not internalize reactions that are not yours to carry. Your role is not to manage perception, it is to remain aligned. Those who are meant to walk with you will recognize the fruit, not just the platform. One of the quiet dangers of visibility is overexposure, the urge to share everything, to explain every decision, to respond to every opinion. Resist this urge. Not everything that is visible needs to be accessible. The blue power teaches you restraint, even in openness. You learn what to share and what to guard, what to invite others into and what to keep sacred. Mystery is not deception, it is stewardship. Jesus spoke openly to crowds, but explained deeply to a few. He did not distribute access equally, he distributed it wisely. Chosen one visibility does not require transparency without boundaries. As things become more visible, your rhythms will need adjustment. Rest becomes even more essential. Silence becomes more valuable. Time alone with God becomes non-negotiable. The more people need from you, the more you must draw from the source. This is not selfish, it is sustainability. Burnout is not a badge of honor, it is a signal of misalignment. The blue power is not maintained through exhaustion, it is sustained through intimacy and trust. You may also feel grief in this season. Grief for the simplicity of earlier times. Grief for relationships that cannot follow you forward. Grief for versions of yourself that no longer fit. Do not rush past this grief. Let it teach you how to release without bitterness. Let it refine your compassion. Growth always costs something, but what it gives back is depth that cannot be manufactured. Another aspect of visibility is confirmation. Things you once questioned about yourself begin to be affirmed externally. People name what you've known internally for years. Your role becomes clearer. Your assignment becomes more defined. This is not to inflate you, it is to anchor you. Confirmation does not replace obedience, it supports it. Chosen one, you are not being pushed into the spotlight randomly. Heaven does not waste preparation. What is emerging now has been shaped carefully. The timing is intentional. The sequence is deliberate. You are not early. You are not late. You are right on time. In the next part, we will speak about stewardship in visible seasons, how to remain faithful when influence grows, how to protect your inner life, and how to lead without losing yourself. Stay with me. What was hidden is no longer concealed, but it is still protected by alignment. Chosen one visibility brings responsibility, but stewardship determines longevity. This is the season where influence grows not just in reach, but in weight. And weight, if not carried wisely, can distort even the purest intentions. That is why heaven is not only concerned with what you do now, but with who you remain while doing it. Stewardship is the quiet discipline of staying aligned when more is entrusted to you. When influence increases, the temptation is subtle. It doesn't arrive as corruption, it arrives as busyness, as urgency, as the feeling that everything depends on you. But hear this clearly, chosen one. Nothing depends on you more than your alignment. You are not the source. You are the vessel. The blue power flows best through vessels that remain uncluttered. That means learning to say no without guilt, to pause without panic, to rest without apology. Influence will constantly demand output, but stewardship demands input from the right source. I've seen gifted people lose themselves not through scandal, but through overextension. They stopped listening inwardly because outward voices became louder. They confused fruitfulness with faithfulness, and slowly clarity eroded. Heaven is guarding you from that outcome. One of the most important disciplines in this season is intentional simplicity. As influence grows, simplify your inner life. Reduce unnecessary noise. Limit exposure to opinions that drain discernment. Not everyone who has access to you deserves influence over you. Stewardship means guarding your gates, your mind, your time. your emotional bandwidth. You will need to revisit boundaries not because people have changed, but because your capacity has. What once felt manageable may now feel heavy. That doesn't mean you're failing. It means the assignment has shifted. Chosen one, you are allowed to adjust. Another key to stewardship is remembering why you began. Not the first success, not the first recognition, but the original stirring, the quiet knowing, the moment when obedience mattered more than outcome. Return to that place often. It will keep your motives clean when praise increases. It will steady you when criticism sharpens. It will remind you that your calling was never about image, it was about impact. As influence grows, people will seek your attention more frequently. Some out of genuine hunger, others out of convenience, a few out of entitlement. Discernment will help you respond without resentment. You are not required to meet every need. You are required to fulfill your assignment. Jesus healed many, but not all. He taught crowds, but invested deeply in a few. He withdrew often not to escape, but to realign. His example shows us that stewardship includes selective engagement. Chosen one. Selective does not mean selfish. It means obedient. Another challenge of influence is comparison. You may notice yourself being compared to others by people's systems or even your own thoughts. Resist the urge to measure your journey against another's expression. Your calling has its own rhythm. Your authority has its own tone. Your legacy has its own shape. Comparison distorts stewardship because it shifts focus from obedience to performance. The blue power does not compete. It complements. It fills gaps rather than fights for space. Stay in your lane not because others threaten you, but because alignment requires focus. As you steward influence, humility must remain active, not passive. Humility listens. It stays teachable. It welcomes correction without collapsing. It recognizes that growth never stops. There will be moments when you are wrong, when you misjudge timing, when you misunderstand a situation. Stewardship allows room for adjustment without shame. Pride resists correction. Humility integrates it. Chosen one being wrong occasionally does not disqualify you. Refusing to learn does. Another vital aspect of stewardship is consistency in private life. Influence often amplifies whatever already exists internally. If you are grounded privately, you will remain steady publicly. If you neglect your inner life, pressure will expose the cracks. Do not abandon the practices that sustained you before visibility. Prayer that is not performative, stillness that is not productive, reflection that is honest. These are not luxuries, they are lifelines. As you move forward, you may notice that your influence extends beyond what you directly touch. People you've never met are impacted by decisions you make. Systems shift because you chose alignment. That realization can feel heavy. Let it deepen your dependence on God. Stewardship is not about carrying everything, it is about releasing control. Trust that the same God who prepared you will sustain you. You are not holding the future together, you are participating in it. Chosen one influence will test your identity. There will be moments when you forget who you are beneath the role, when expectations threaten to define you, when pressure tries to replace purpose. When that happens, return to truth. You are not your platform. You are not your output. You are not your visibility. You are chosen. You are aligned. You are entrusted. And trust requires faithfulness more than intensity. In the final part, we will speak about completion and continuation, how to walk forward without fear of losing momentum, how to trust seasons of transition, and how to remain at peace, knowing the work will continue through you and beyond you. Stay with me, chosen one. You are not meant to burn out. You are meant to endure and multiply. Chosen one. We have reached a sacred threshold, not an ending but a completion that leads into continuation. Many fear this moment because it feels like standing between chapters where the old no longer fits and the new has not fully formed. But this space is holy. It is where trust matures into peace. You are not losing momentum. You are learning how to carry it without strain. Completion does not mean everything is finished. It means something essential has been integrated. The blue power is no longer something you are discovering, it is something you are living from. And when power becomes embodied, fear loses its leverage. One of the greatest lies at this stage is the fear of regression. The thought that if you slow down, everything will collapse, that if you stop pushing, you will lose ground. But hear this clearly. Chosen one. What is sustained by striving was never truly aligned. What is aligned continues even in stillness. I've had to learn this myself. There were seasons when I believed consistency meant constant output, that rest was risky, that slowing down meant falling behind. But the opposite proved true. When I trusted God with pacing, clarity deepened. When I released urgency, effectiveness increased. Heaven does not rush what is established. At this stage, you may notice transitions that feel subtle but significant. Roles evolve, assignments refine. Some doors close gently, not because they failed, but because they fulfilled their purpose. This can feel unsettling if you expect continuity to look like sameness. But continuity often looks like transformation. Do not cling to what God has already completed. Gratitude honors the past. Attachment traps you in it. The blue power gives you the courage to release chapters with grace and step forward without needing full visibility. You do not need the entire map. You need the next step. Fear often disguises itself as responsibility. It tells you that everything depends on your vigilance, but responsibility in the kingdom is shared. You are not carrying the future alone. The same God who initiated this work will complete it through you and beyond you. This is where peace becomes a discipline. Peace is not the absence of challenge, it is the presence of trust. You choose peace when you refuse to rehearse worst-case scenarios, when you stop replaying what-ifs, when you anchor yourself in what is true rather than what is uncertain. Chosen one. Uncertainty does not mean danger. It often means expansion. Another shift in this season is learning how to rest in fruitfulness, to enjoy what God has done without immediately chasing what's next. Celebration is not complacency, it is acknowledgement. Acknowledge how far you've come. You survived what was meant to silence you. You learned discernment through pain. You developed authority through obedience. You carried influence without losing your soul. These are not small victories. They are foundations. As you continue, remember that not every season will feel intense. Some will feel quiet, even ordinary. Do not despise those seasons. Ordinary days are where longevity is built, where habits stabilize, where wisdom settles into muscle memory. Great callings are sustained in ordinary faithfulness. You may also feel a renewed call toward mentorship, formal or informal. People will look to you not just for answers, but for permission to trust themselves. This is part of continuation. What you received, you now reflect. Legacy lives here. You don't need to replicate your journey for others. You simply need to remain aligned and honest. Your presence alone will teach more than your words. As you move forward, keep this posture, open-handed obedience. Plans are useful, vision is important, but rigidity suffocates growth. Allow God to surprise you. Some of your most meaningful impact will come through paths you didn't anticipate. Flexibility is not instability, it is faith in motion. Chosen one, you are no longer chasing identity. You are walking in it. You are no longer proving readiness. You are stewarding trust. You are no longer waiting for permission. Heaven already confirmed you through process. Now walk lightly, not careless, but unburdened. If fear tries to return, remind yourself of this truth: what God authors, He sustains. You were not chosen because you could manage everything. You were chosen because you were willing to align. Alignment is enough. This is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a new way of walking, rooted, steady, responsive. You will continue to grow, continue to learn, continue to adjust, but you will do so from rest, not from anxiety. Chosen one. The blue power is no longer hidden. It is integrated. It moves with you quietly, faithfully, and effectively. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to defend it. Just live aligned. And as you do, your life will continue to speak long after words fade. This is not an ending. This is continuation with peace. Chosen one. This final movement is not about striving for more. It is about becoming a signal. When the blue power is fully integrated, your life no longer feels like a constant effort to hold things together. It becomes a transmission, quiet, steady, clear. You are no longer fighting to be seen, understood, or validated. You are simply recognized by what flows through you. This is where many misunderstand maturity. They think growth looks like intensity, like urgency, like always being on. But true spiritual authority looks different. It looks calm. It looks grounded. It looks like someone who has stopped wrestling with their identity. Chosen one. You were never meant to live in constant tension. There was a season when everything felt like resistance, when every step required effort, when peace felt temporary, and when clarity came only after pain. That season was formative, but it was not meant to be permanent. Now you are learning how to move without friction. Not because life has no challenges, but because you are no longer divided within yourself. When inner conflict resolves, external conflict loses its grip. You still face decisions, but you are no longer torn. You still encounter opposition, but it no longer destabilizes you. This is what it means to live as a signal. A signal does not shout. A signal does not argue. A signal does not chase attention. A signal broadcasts by being consistent. Your presence now carries information. People sense alignment before you speak. They feel clarity when you enter a space. They don't always know why, but their nervous systems respond. Their thoughts slow down. Their defenses soften. This is not charisma. It is coherence. When your thoughts, values, and actions align, your life emits order, and order calms chaos. I've learned this through contrast. I remember seasons when I was doing the right things but still felt unsettled. My actions were correct, but my inner world was fragmented. Over time, God didn't just correct my behavior, He healed my orientation. I stopped asking, "Am I doing enough?" and started asking, "Am I aligned?" That shift changed everything. Chosen one. You are no longer driven by fear of missing out or fear of falling behind. You trust timing now. You recognize that rushing fractures discernment. You allow space for silence. You allow days to be ordinary without questioning your purpose. This is strength. Living as a signal also means you stop absorbing everything around you. You become less reactive, less emotionally hijacked by other people's chaos. You still feel compassion, but you no longer confuse empathy with responsibility. You are not meant to carry everyone's weight. Boundaries are no longer something you negotiate internally. They are simply present, natural, calm. And because they are calm, they are effective. Some people will drift away in this season, not because you rejected them, but because alignment exposes misalignment without confrontation. This can feel lonely if you don't understand it, but it is also freeing. Chosen one. Not every separation is a loss. Some are corrections. As you continue living this way, your influence becomes less dramatic and more enduring. You may speak less, but when you do it, matters. You may do fewer things, but what you do carries impact. This is refinement, not reduction. Another marker of this stage is peace with incompletion. You no longer need everything resolved to feel grounded. You are comfortable living with open questions. You trust that clarity will come when it is needed. This doesn't make you passive, it makes you present. Presence is rare, and presence changes rooms. You also begin to recognize how often God worked through you when you weren't aware of it. Looking back, you'll see moments where your words altered someone's direction, where your restraint prevented damage, where your prayer shifted outcomes you never witnessed. This realization humbles you not into insecurity, but into gratitude. Gratitude stabilizes the soul. Chosen one, as you live as a signal, your life becomes simpler, not smaller, simpler. You value depth over volume, truth over noise, alignment over approval. You are no longer trying to be powerful, you are reliable, and heaven trusts reliability. The future will continue to unfold. There will be new seasons, new responsibilities, new invitations, but you will meet them differently now, without panic, without self-betrayal, without losing yourself in the process. You will move from clarity, not craving, from conviction, not comparison, from obedience, not anxiety. This is what the blue power was always preparing you for, not a moment of elevation, but a way of being. Chosen one. Your life is no longer a struggle to prove something. It is a quiet witness to what alignment looks like in motion. And those who are meant to see it will recognize it not because you explain it, but because it resonates. You are a signal now, and signals do not strive. They simply emit truth. This is not the end of your story. It is the posture from which the rest of it unfolds. Chosen one. This is not a conclusion, it is an activation. Everything spoken before this moment has been preparation, alignment, and remembrance. Now we speak of embodiment. Because the blue power was never meant to remain a concept you understand. It was meant to become a life you live. At this stage, something profound settles into place. You stop asking, "What is my purpose?" and begin living as if your life itself is the answer. You realize that destiny is not a destination you arrive at one day, it is a frequency you walk in daily. Chosen one, you are the scroll. Not a scroll you read, not a scroll you chase, a scroll you carry and unfold by living aligned. Scripture speaks of books written before we were formed, of days ordained before one of them came to be. This was never poetic exaggeration. It was revelation. Your life has always been encoded with timing, encounters, and assignments that activate only when alignment meets surrender. That is where you are now. The final activation is not loud. There is no dramatic shift in the natural that announces it. Instead, there is a quiet certainty inside you, a grounded knowing, a peace that does not depend on circumstances. You stop waiting for a signal because you are the signal. Chosen one, heaven no longer needs to get your attention. You are already listening. You no longer move from fear of missing God's will. You move from trust that He is guiding your steps. When choices arise, clarity comes faster. When resistance appears, it no longer shakes your identity. When silence comes, it feels like rest, not abandonment. This is what it means to be activated. You have learned how to remain open without being porous, how to stay compassionate without being consumed, how to carry authority without becoming rigid, how to walk in confidence without losing humility. These are not small things. They are rare integrations. And now the blue power expresses itself through your everyday life, through how you speak, how you listen, how you decide, how you pause, how you forgive, how you refuse to repeat cycles that once felt inevitable. This is the kind of power heaven trusts. Chosen one, do not underestimate the holiness of ordinary obedience, the way you show up when no one is watching, the way you choose integrity in quiet moments, the way you remain aligned when shortcuts present themselves. These choices keep the scroll open. There will still be challenges, there will still be unknowns, but they will no longer feel threatening. They will feel like invitations to deepen trust. You will not always know what comes next, but you will know how to walk forward. And that is enough. As this activation settles, you may feel a release of urgency, a softening, a sense that you no longer need to prove anything to God, to others, or to yourself. That release is not disengagement. It is confidence rooted in alignment. You are not behind. You are not catching up. You are not late. You are on time. Now hear this final truth. Chosen one, your life will speak louder than your words ever could. People will learn from how you move through difficulty. They will be strengthened by how you remain steady. They will feel permission to trust God because they see what alignment looks like in you. This is how the blue power multiplies, not through force, not through spectacle, but through embodiment. You are no longer waiting for the next instruction to become someone else. You are living as the person heaven has been forming all along. And as you continue, the scroll will keep unfolding line by line, season by season. You do not need to rush it. You do not need to fear it. You do not need to control it. Walk aligned. Stay listening. Remain available. Chosen one. The time for hiding is over, not because you are exposed, but because you are established. The time for activation is not coming. It is now. And you are ready. Chosen one, as this moment comes to rest, know this: your sealed prophecy is opening, and the hidden scroll written over your life is being revealed in perfect Kairos timing. You are standing exactly where heaven ordained you to stand. May clarity settle in your spirit, courage rise in your heart, and peace guard your steps as you move forward. Stay faithful, stay aligned. Walk gently but boldly with the anointing placed upon you. What God has begun, He will surely complete. If your spirit bears witness, let it be known in the quiet way. Leave a word, share this light, and remain watchful for what is about to manifest. Go in grace. Heaven goes with you.